we started with nothing and humble beginnings. They wanna fuck with me now cause I'm winning. Chasing this chicken cause I'm on a mission. I'm known for get money and standing on business. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Keep that shit coming, they know how we living. Come from the struggle, got lost in the hustle. Straight out the mud, no I compliment couples. Chasing big bills just to keep this shit subtle. You ain't on my team if you wasn't in the huddle. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Keep that shit coming, they know that I'm with it. I fit the description, I'm the definition. I'm what they prescribe like she seen a physician. She wanna ride cause she seen how we getting it. Big old booty, she my passenger princess. She like to argue, she don't like to listen. She bougie and toxic, she fine and she picky. Pretty as a ditty, she get recognition. Matching nails and toes, man, she always French tip 'em. Parking lot pimping when we in the city. Don't ask about twine, she twerk on the engine. She eat the dick in the car cause it's tennis. She pay me attention like she get commission. Pimpin' CEO, so I give her the business. She ride on the dick like she doing some fitness. She make the dick disappear like she magician. She like to swallow, man, she love when I finish. Have emotion, man, you know I got plenty. Bitches choosing cause they know that I'm winning. See some thousands, now I'm after some millions. So all my houses come with chandelier ceilings. Pillow talking, man, that shit just ain't in me. Keep it pimpin', I can't do no pretending. Jealous hearted, man, you know I ain't with it. Cupping hoes, I can't do no commitment. No, we started with nothing and humble beginnings. They wanna fuck with me now cause I'm winning. Chasing this chicken cause I'm on a mission. I'm known for get money and standing on business. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Keep that shit coming, they know how we living. Come from the struggle, got lost in the hustle. Straight out the mud, no I compliment couples. Chasing big bills just to keep this shit subtle. You ain't on my team if you wasn't in the huddle. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Keep that shit coming, they know that I'm with it.
Wow. Lucas stall out them pint bottles out Granny crib. I poured so much I ain't want to live. Told money then, shit we in the wind. I was in the hood when I clipped the bin. Since a young nigga I been ready. Went glass house on every Chevy. In this game I tried plenty settings. It's all or nothing how niggas been. Got sucker niggas, keep suckers with them. One of the reasons I ain't fucking with them. Trish Tech and some more than her. Guess she couldn't even afford a winner. I'm open late, don't need a scale. And it's always over, sneak wishing well. I dove her down, slick shit to spell. Shawty know I don't kiss and tell. I'm faded, 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 faded. I'm faded, 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 faded. And I'm faded, 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 faded. I'm faded, 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 faded. I'm a saint, but I sin. I checked in the game to win. I left, she loving me again. I let her cry out the bins and they say time heal. Mine still felt like it was yesterday. I was moving fast, probably too fast to even catch the play. Spence a night, she pack a bag, right to me, just getting gas. Coming back, I want it bad. I'ma touch it first, eat the last, it's temporary. Holly damn emotion said it's temporary. My pain deeper than the ocean. Temporary feelings mixed with temporary pleasures. All these temporary moments and these temporary treasures. Temporary circumstances to temporary measures. Temporary friends and even temporary schedules. Temporary smiles and temporary goals. Temporary women sliding on temporary poles. Temporary comments and temporary trolls. I just pray that God bless me. Ain't no temporary souls. I'm a saint, but I sin. I checked in the game to win. I left, she loving me again. I let her cry out the bins and they say time heal. Mine still felt like it was yesterday. I was moving fast, probably too fast to even catch the play. Spence a night, she pack a bag, right to me, just getting gas. Coming back, I want it bad. I'ma touch it first, eat the last, it's temporary. Holly damn emotion said it's temporary. My pain deeper than the ocean.
There we go, chat. Y'all lock, chat? Y'all lock? What's going on, man? What we doing tonight, chat? Y'all lock?
Welcome to the greatest damn show on YouTube.
Okay, okay. In case they didn't hear
Welcome
that.
to the greatest damn show on YouTube.
Oh, man. Double tap the screen, shut it live out. What we doing tonight, chat? What we doing tonight, chat? Double tap the screen, shut it live out. We got Obama responds to everything. Pam Bondi releases dozens of names linked to the Epstein files, man. Chat, we got an action-packed episode. Be sure to get down to that poll and let me know who was your favorite president. And if your favorite president is not listed, drop it in the comments, man. I hope everybody had a great Valentine's Day. I know it's getting a little bit late, man, but you know, get tucked in, man. Get locked in. Frars, what it do? Lori, what it do? Big Niche, what it do? OG Yosemite, what it do? Amanda, what it do? What we doing tonight, chat? What we doing tonight? What's up, Mama Money? What we doing tonight, chat? We locked, man. We locked, chat. Let's get into it, man. We do got an action-packed episode. We got couple miscellaneous clips. This guy right here is a multi-millionaire, Simon. I don't know how to say his last name, but he ended up marrying Portia Williams, man. Y'all know Portia Williams. She ended up divorcing him after like a year, and now he's got to pay $40,000 a month. And he's speaking out saying he felt like he was targeted, man. Also, we got a secretary in Brazil. He ended up getting a what do they call that? What's that James O'Keefe camera, chat? The cheaters camera, man. He ended up sending a undercover what do they call that? A private investigator, man. Caught his wife making out with some dude in a restaurant, man. He ended up unaliving both the kids and then himself, and just left her, I guess, to live out the rest of our days with that on our mind, man. And we're gonna get into the Obama video. Obama sat down with Brian Tyler Cohen, and did a full-length interview, so we'll break that down as well. Double tap the screen, shut a live out, chat. I had another clip of this 19-year-old girl, man. She ended up marrying a 52-year-old old dude and busted his head open with a glass, man. Like a glass, just boom, busted his head open with a glass, got him leaking, chat. I think I seen her with an ankle monitor on, man. Have y'all seen that clip? I wanted to react to it, but I don't want them to snatch the live down. I don't want them to snatch the live down. Why is my chat not loading, man? What is going on? Let's get into the clip, though, chat. Double tap the screen, shut a live out. We're 25 subscribers away from the next sub goal. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, and let's hit 100 likes. I need y'all to get to 100 likes right quick. This is the guy, the billionaire, the multi-billionaire that got divorced by this Portia Williams, man. Now she's in his pockets for $40,000 a month, dude. $40,000 a month, dude. And they wonder why people aren't getting married like that. $40,000 a month, bro. This man built a multi-million-dollar empire, was married to this woman for like 15 months, man. Now she's getting what's that, $500,000 a year from here on out. It's crazy.
You regret marrying her?
Absolutely. Said to her in one of my text messages to her, because she didn't respond, because I kept asking her, why did you file for a divorce? And she wouldn't say.
She filed for a divorce because the mission was complete.
I tried to reach her mom. Her mom would not respond either. I later figured out this felt like a coup. You know, when I don't know if you. The
same way they got Shannon Sharp, chat. He said it felt like a coup. The mom's not answering. It's the same way Gabrielle Sewell got Shannon Sharp, man. Targeted attack. They're saying that, what did they say, that she was working out at a celebrity gym and Shannon just came there? Man, they put her in that gym. She went to that gym on purpose. Just like this Portia girl ran up on this billionaire Simon on purpose, talking about, why did you fall for? The mission was done.
Familiar with. I'm familiar. I say it because I'm from Nigeria, and that we were ruled at one point by the military, and so every so often when you want to change leadership, the president, you stage a coup.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. I was totally blindsided. I was no member of her family, whether on the mother's side or the father's side, reached out to me, and the only person I actually reached out to was her mom, and she didn't respond. And so
with him being from Africa, I wonder, did he get her father's blessing? Like, isn't that a real big thing when you get married over there in Africa? Isn't getting a blessing like a really big thing, Chad?
I essentially sent her a text message. I said this was a $5 million rehab project that I took on. She never shared her concerns or issues with me before filing for divorce. If you're married, I've been married quite a bit. I think I understand a little bit about the dynamics of, I should understand a little bit about the dynamics of a relationship. You discuss issues and say, hey, if this does not change or something does not happen, this is what might come of it. We never had those discussions, and I'm happy to share with you text messages where I was essentially blindsided by the divorce fight.
I was actually...
Yeah, her daddy has to be alive because he said that nobody from her mother's side of the family or her father's side or the father never reached out either. So he said it felt like a coup. He has to pay this woman $40,000 a month, man, and he's wondering why nobody's answering the phone.
I ask you if this was something that you saw coming, if conversations had been had prior. What do you think Portia's reason was to file for divorce?
I think I was targeted.
What?
I was targeted from day one for financial reasons. But when I filed for divorce from my previous, ex-wife, she was in my DM praying for me. And I think I was in a vulnerable position.
In his DM praying, listen, Chad, hey, those DM prayers be a little crazy, man. What do you mean after you divorced your ex-wife, she was in your DM praying for you, man?
At that time. And I entertained it. And so it just kind of snowballed from there. Getting engaged in 30 days,
30 days?
I was out of my goddamn mind to have done that.
At least
and,
you know
of course, I'm paying dearly for it.
Talking about he was out his GD mind. Man, okay, at least you know it, man. 30 days, that's one of those Candace Owens marriages, Chad. Now, listen, we're going to move on right quick, Chad. This is a sad situation right here, man. This clip right here, man, is from a lawmaker. What kind of lawmaker is he? He's in Brazil, man. A government secretary, man. A municipal government secretary. You see him right there on the right. That's the guy. That's his wife, the 2 kids, man. Well, he put a private investigator on his old lady, man. And this is what the results of that private investigation were, man. They're all in there. They're making out and all of that type shit, man. Look at them. Making out and shit all in the restaurant. And now he puts a private investigator on, and the private investigator brings back that footage to him. He posts the footage on his social media and then goes and unalives the kids and unalives himself, man. So yeah, he went in there, unalived the kids, unalived himself after and posted the video on the social media, Chad. I don't know what the hell is going on these days, man. This shit is crazy, bro. Crazy, man. Prayers for that family, man. Prayers for those people, man. I don't even have any words for that shit right now, bro. It's really wild. What else do we got? All right, we got this Bill Gates clip, man. Then we'll get into the Obama interview. We ain't gonna waste no time. We're gonna get straight into the Obama interview. Let's see what Bill Gates... Oh, Bill Gates was talking about basically hooking us all up to the damn Matrix, man. Or is this the farmer clip?
Leads, but there's a lot more.
Oh yeah, Bill Gates wants to keep tabs on all of the farmers. He wants to know how much land all the farmers has, what they're putting on those farms, what kind of crops they're putting, and he wants it all to be tracked digitally, man. What the hell is going wrong with these people? It's like we have the old guard, the deep state, which was the banking systems, and now we have the new guard, which is the technocrats, the damn oligarchy. It's crazy, and right now, this is what we're seeing in our country. We're seeing the banking system, the old financial system, the old guard fighting against the new guard, which is the technocrats, man. And Bill Gates is, I guess, a fucking hybrid, man. He kind of moves in between both.
Or that all of you can be involved in driving forward is this digital public infrastructure. No country is more able to take government benefits and get them out efficiently and effectively to their citizens than India. You would have expected rich countries or others to do that, but in fact, they did not. And so that basic structure that starts with identity and bank accounts and payments is just foundational. And as part of this visit, I'm now seeing how that foundation is being built out in culture, with profiles of farmers to understand what they need and give them advice, built out with health records so that we can help people not only with infectious diseases, but the challenge that's coming in the future, both of the non-communicable diseases being a huge thing, and that digital public infrastructure will help us with these climate problems. I was in Odisha yesterday, and what they showed is that they've registered the farmers and registered what type of crops they grow and what land they own. They literally have a control center. When you walk in, you think, wow, this is agriculture, but you've got a command.
They have a control center. You walk in and it's like, oh wow, this is agriculture. The fuck are they monitoring these farmers and shit for, man? This is the same guy that wants us to eat damn lab-grown cow, man. Talking about either make the cow stop farting or stop eating the damn cow. Man, what the hell is going on, bro, man? Who put these people in charge, man?
And maps and people doing queries and sending out messages. And so that all starts with an Aadhaar identity, listing those farmers, getting the information, making sure it's up to date.
The hell out of here, Bill Gates. Man, let's get into this Obama interview, chat. Y'all double tap the screen, shut a live out, chat. We're 25 subscribers away from the next sub goal. 25 subscribers away from the next sub goal. We go live every single day over talking politics, current events, and entertainment. And, yeah, let's get to 100 likes. Be sure to go to the top of the 3 dots at the top and hit the like button. Let's get into it, chat. Let's see what the hell.
Whoa, what's that? I
just built a budgeting app in Base 44.
Guys, Nina just built an app.
Impossible. Nina can't code. Interesting.
It is my honor to be joined by the 44th President of the United States, Barack Obama. Mr. President, thanks so much for joining me.
It is wonderful to be here, Brian. Thank you for having me.
So, as you know, better than anybody, the discourse...
All right, Chad, before we get into it, do y'all think Brian is a plant? Like, not saying he's a plant. We know he's been out here putting in the work and stuff, but do y'all think they flipped the switch on Brian, man? Like they flipped the switch on Benny Johnson, like they flipped the switch on Nick Shirley? Do y'all think the Democrats or the left or some big money players flipped the switch on Brian Tyler? I don't know, Chad. I don't know. It's up in the air for me right now.
Into a level
I wouldn't doubt it.
That we haven't seen before. What was disqualifying just a few years ago now not only feels fine, acceptable, but actually rewarded. You have administration officials saying that the victims of ISIS aggression are domestic terrorists. You have J.D. Vance coming out and saying that it's okay. You don't have to apologize for being white. Just days ago, Donald Trump put a picture of your face on an ape's body. And so again, this is kind of, we've seen the de-evolution of the discourse. How do we come back from the place that we have fallen into?
Well, first of all, I think it's important to recognize that the majority of the American people find this behavior deeply troubling. It is true that it gets attention. It's true that it's a distraction. But, as I'm traveling around the country, as you're traveling around the country, you meet people, they still believe in decency, courtesy, kindness, and there's this sort of clown show that's happening in social media and on television, and what is true is that there doesn't seem to be any shame about this among people who
OG Yosemite with the $50 dono, man. Thank you, OG Yosemite, for the $50 dono, man. I appreciate your continued support from day one. OG was supporting me before I even had a damn channel, chat. I appreciate you, OG. The reason I paused that on these people have no shame What the fuck have I been yelling for the last 3-4 months, man? It's like, man, I don't know, man. Obama, man, just go ahead and give me some damn credit out here, man. I'm dropping this sauce for him, man.
Feel.
We the voice of the people over here, chat. We the what was it? The Republicans used to be the solid majority, man. Well, we the politically homeless, man, and we dropping this game over here, man. These people have no shame. Let me stop yelling.
There doesn't seem to be any shame about this among people who used to feel like you had to have some sort of decorum and a sense of propriety. And respect for the office, right? So that's been lost. But the reason I point out that I don't think the majority of the American people approve of this is because ultimately the answer is going to come from the American people. And we just saw this in Minnesota, Minneapolis. It is important for us to recognize the unprecedented nature of what ICE was doing in Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Tom, Obama's on this podcast because Brian Tyler Cohen is by far probably the largest left-wing podcaster there is. Brian Tyler Cohen is like the equivalent to the right's Benny Johnson. You know what I'm saying? If we just want to compare content creators to content creators, the right wing Brian Tyler is Benny Johnson. The left wing Benny Johnson is Brian. They're the same guy, man. Not saying literally. Of course, they have different views and opinions. But when you look at the influx, their YouTube growth, the things that they talk about, the setup, the style of the show and shit, they're the same person, man.
The way that federal agents, ICE agents, were being deployed without any clear guidelines, training, pulling people off, out of their homes, using 5-year-olds to try to
bait their parents.
Actually, Brian had the number one podcast. I think he had overtaken Benny Johnson, Candace. I think Candace Owens actually reclaimed the number one podcast from Brian.
Parents, all the stuff that we saw, tear gassing, crowds simply who were standing there not breaking any laws. So the rogue behavior of agents of the federal government is deeply concerning and dangerous. But we should take a moment to appreciate the extraordinary outpouring of organizing, community building, decency, neighbors buying groceries for folks, accompanying children to school.
I'm not gonna lie. When I say they are the same guy, I'm not saying their views are the same and they have the same opinions. I'm saying their come up. I'm saying the way that I seen both of their channels at a certain amount of subscribers, and I seen them hit like million after million after million. I seen the push that they got. I seen the way the lives were moving. Like, it was some big fucking money coming in somewhere. They said Benny Johnson was getting botted the hell out. I don't know. Whether you know you're getting botted or you don't know you're getting botted, man, I'm just saying that these guys' come up were very similar over the last, I'd say, 12 months.
Teachers who were standing up for their kids, not just randomly, but in a systematic, organized way. Citizens saying, this is not the America we believe in, and we're going to fight back, and we're going to push back with the truth, and with cameras, and with peaceful protests, and shining a light on the sort of behavior that in the past we've seen in authoritarian countries, and we've seen in dictatorships, but we have not seen in America. And that kind of heroic, sustained behavior in sub-zero weather by ordinary people is what should give us hope. And it should remind us that at the end of the day, the way we get a democracy that's working, the way we get policies that actually are helping working families get ahead, the way that we restore norms, rule of law, decency, it's going to be because we, citizens, are activated and paying attention and saying enough and saying, we have a different idea of what the American...
See, this is what you're missing the point, Friar. Sometimes you just miss the damn point. I'm not saying that I've been watching them forever. You've been watching them since 2017. That's cool. What I'm saying is over the last 12 months, their come up has been similar. If you do this shit, if you do content creation, you know kind of what's normal growth, what's viral, explosive growth, and what's just fabricated growth. What I'm saying is it's borderline fabricated growth, man. This shit is crazy.
American family should
I can't put that on him because a lot of people get botted. That's a big thing on the Twitch culture where somebody will just run bots to your account. You don't know these people, have no knowledge of what's going on. They just run bots to your damn account to make you look bad or whatever. They do it,
like and community should look like. And that is what I'm seeing across the board. So, I was on a panel a while back, and I said, a lot of the values that we say we subscribe to, during easy times, during peaceful times, it's easy to say we believe in those things.
Right, when they're not challenged.
When they're not challenged. It's easy to believe in free speech when it doesn't seem like the government's trying to crack down on free speech. It's easy to say that we believe in the golden rule when we aren't at risk of being arrested when we exercise the golden rule.
Yeah.
Right now we're being tested, and the good news is what we saw in Minneapolis and St. Paul, and what we're seeing in places across the country, including here in Los Angeles, has been the American people saying, no, you know what, at least a good number of the American people saying, we're going to live up to those values that we say we believe in. And as long as we have folks doing that, I feel like we're going to get through this.
So I hear and appreciate what you're saying about the agency of individuals. As we look toward our elected officials, our democratic leaders, I think something that I've been having a lot of trouble reconciling is for so long it's felt like Democrats are solely focused on protecting norms, institutions, processes, and then you've got a Republican Party that sees what it wants and will find a way to get it. Laws be damned, Constitution be damned, rules be damned. And we're seeing that play out right now. And so, given this massive asymmetry, where it often leaves us feeling like it's a Lucy pulling the football away from Charlie Brown over and over and over again situation, what needs to be done? And do you think that our Democratic leadership and our Democratic elected officials understand that for the first time?
Well, look, I think we have to acknowledge that we've got the harder job, right? So we believe in government as a tool for good, as a potential force to create more jobs and as a way to...
Hey, we got to get the likes up, man. We got 24 likes. Just piss poor, man. Hit the like button when you come in here. Be sure to share this video out if you want to support this channel, man. But we got to get the likes up, man. 24 likes is crazy, Chad.
Make sure that the planet doesn't roast. To make sure that as we move forward and the economy grows, that everybody and not just some are benefiting, and the kids are getting a good education. And what that...
He did. If Obama was so good, what did he do to help the tax? He got us the fuck out of the 2008 crash, man. What the hell are you talking about, man? This shit was terrible, man. He helped the shit, man. banks were collapsing, shit was going down, he bailed the fucking banks out, man. If you want to be honest, Obama kicked the fucking can down the road for us, man. And this shit would have all fell down back then. Shh, kicking the can down the road is what everybody else doing. Biden kicked can down the road. Trump kicked can down the road. Everybody's kicking the fucking... Obama did the same shit for the taxpayers. Everybody else that kicked the fucking can down the road when he bailed those banks out.
What it means is that we have to think about the consequences of our actions. We have to try to figure out how do we get working majorities to actually pass laws and to implement those laws and to make things happen. Tearing stuff down doesn't require all that. So when you talk about Republicans, for example, it seems like they see what they want and they just go after it. Well, they've passed one significant piece of legislation since they've been, for all the hoopla. They haven't actually codified and institutionalized much of anything. They have poured a huge amount of money into ICE and their immigration agenda.
Yeah, Chad, I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna make a video earlier. I believe they allocated, $38 billion? $38 billion to buy warehouses to transform them into ICE detention facilities to house around 100,000 people. And I'm just gonna be all the way honest with you, Chad. This shit, I don't know, man. They're buying existing commercial real estate too. Like, they're buying existing buildings and shit. This is all a circle jerk to prop up the commercial real estate, to help the private prisons was already mad that they're not having enough detainees and shit. It's looking like due process, I guess a right to a trial is going to come with motherfuckers sitting in these detention facilities. So are they going to have a right to a speedy and fair trial? Is it going to be a 30-day turnaround in these detention camps? Or is it going to be 6 months long term? Because if they're saying it's 12 million, 20 million undocumented, 100,000 beds is not really going to do shit. Unless it's a 30-day turnaround. If it's a 30-day turnaround, what's that? 1.2 million people per year. If it's a 6-month turnaround, that's like a couple 100,000 people, bro. For 38 billion? 38 billion. I gotta see it work, Chad. I'm scratching my head right now. I'm a little confused. You could damn near build new.
And they've cut taxes for really wealthy people. And now they're trying to unravel a bunch of rules and norms and laws that are already in place. That's an easier job. So I say that because we should accept the responsibility and the challenge that our job's going to be a little bit harder. Because in order for us to get stuff done, like let's say the Affordable Care Act, well, we've got to cobble together a majority, and we've got to persuade, and we've got to convince. And so I do think that there have been some...
My problem is not how many people at this point of the conversation. It's not about how many people that they deported. We'll set that to the side for a minute. It's about justifying $38 billion for warehouses to turn into ICE detention camps. $38 billion for 100,000 beds sounds fucking crazy to me. I'm not gonna, especially unless they can guarantee a 30-day turnaround. A 30-day turnaround might justify it financially, fiscally. A 30-day turnaround. A 90-day turnaround is like, the fuck are we doing? A 6-month turnaround? We're talking about 38 billion here, bro. We just had motherfuckers go off the deep end because he let Malay over there in Argentina get 20 billion. Now we're talking about 30 billion for some fucking warehouses, bro. Some warehouses, bro. 38. some warehouses, bro.
There's been some unwillingness on the part of Democrats in the past to break down some of the institutional barriers for us getting stuff done, just because, well, it's always been done that way. And I'll give you an example that frustrated the heck out of me when I was president, which was the filibuster in the Senate. The Senate is already structurally skewed and anti-majoritarian, right? It's hard for majorities to get stuff done, whether it's trying to pass civil rights legislation in the 60s or, trying to get gun control legislation or what have you, because even though majority people support it, Delaware...
See, this is the thing. This is where y'all move the goalposts. You say, how much did Solindra lose with Obama? You talking about $38 billion. See, what I'm talking about is the motherfucking narrative changing. I'm talking about the Republicans and the GOP was all with this Doge, waste, fraud, and abuse shit. I just heard J.D. Vance spent like 50 fucking million going to the Olympics. Now I'm seeing $38 billion on some motherfucking warehouses, man. Where's Doge? Where's the waste, fraud, and abuse in this? Oh, I forgot. Doge just wanted the Social Security data so they could fuck all of us over, man. Get the fuck out of here.
And Wyoming have the same number of senators as California. Yeah. Right? All right, so that would require a constitutional amendment. You then compound that with a filibuster, and the truth is that Democrats for some time have been traditionalists in wanting to preserve that. When it blocks us from making government effective, which in turn makes people feel like government is corrupt and not caring about them.
Which lends itself
to the kind of, it gives folks like Trump an opening, right? So redistricting is another good example of where I strongly believe we should not be having politicians draw lines that determine who's voting for them. We should have voters decide who their politicians are. And I've worked with Eric Holder to help set up the terrific work that the NDRC has been doing to try to make sure that we have fair maps. But the fact that Governor Newsom here in California and others said, well, if they're going to try to gerrymander their way out of losing this upcoming midterm, then we're going to respond. And we're going to respond in a lawful way where we put it up to a referendum and let people decide and not just give away the store because of traditions. That was the right response. So,
what's up, Harad?
I do think that I don't want us to simply duplicate the behavior of the other side. I don't want us to have a slash and burn strategy where we don't care about rule of law. We don't care about some of the guardrails around our democracy. We start lying and having no regard for the truth the way the other side seems to be comfortable with right now. Because if that's how we fight, then we lose what we're fighting for. But that doesn't mean we have to get punked or be saps. And I do, or to cling to traditions just for the sake of tradition. I think what we have to continually evaluate is, in this moment in time, how do we make sure that we can advance our agenda in a way that reflects what's good for ordinary folks, not special interests, not simply the well-to-do. And how do we do that in a way that's consistent with integrity, honesty, democracy, the values that we claim to want to uphold? And I think it's possible to do that. But the reason I started with reminding ourselves, yes, we have a harder job, because sometimes I think we're tough on Democrats, saying, why aren't you being as mean, tough, and nasty as they are? Well, it's when I was president of the United States, I suppose I could have simply unilaterally ordered the military to go into some red state
Yeah.
and harass and intimidate a governor there, or cut off funding for states that didn't vote for me. I could have exercised that prerogative, but that is contrary to how I think our democracy is supposed to work. And I think we shouldn't get discouraged by the fact that we have a tougher job. What we should do is expect that our side is...
Yeah, this administration did come in and kind of change the rules, and they changed it rapidly. Most of the time, humans are creatures of habit. Most humans reject change. So when change happens, and it happens rather fast, it's difficult. A lot of people reject it. I think that's what we're dealing with right now. The change is happening, and it's happening so fast that a lot of people just don't know really what's going on or how to deal with it.
Smart enough to figure it out.
So you had mentioned persuasion, and I think
it's all leading to that damn civil war. I'm not talking about like a race war, but I mean like between that old guard that we're talking about, the banking, and the new guard, the technocrats. The technocrats are trying to take over, man. That's why data centers are going everywhere. Shit is crazy.
I think that's a really good point here, because as we eventually head toward a next general election cycle, we're going to be contending with a lot of the same infighting that's plagued Democrats before. You'll often have leftists and progressives butting up against liberals and moderates. And look, you are the ultimate pragmatist. And so what advice do you have as we head toward this election cycle, this eventual 2028 election cycle, so that we don't devolve into the same 2016 era Bernie Hillary redux that...
Hey, chat, be sure to hit the subscribe button, man. We're 20 subscribers away from the next sub goal. We go live every single day over here talking politics, entertainment, and current events, man. Please subscribe to the channel. Be sure to hit the like button, man. Let me know, chat, who do y'all got, man? Who's the better president, man? Obama, Bush, Clinton, or Trump?
Feels like it always consumes the left.
Well, look, first of all, I think it's important to remember that the divisions in the Democratic Party tend to get magnified in the media. Relative to the divides that exist in most other countries, where you have a parliamentary system, you have multiple parties, and you got Green Party, and you got the center-left party, and you've got a Socialist Party, and sometimes you got to...
But let's not act like we don't know the reason for this. Like Obama, if we're going to talk about why that is like that, we have to understand that that's where the fucking money flows. The money flows into the DNC, the money flows into the RNC. Everybody else gets left where they be, man. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Now, we can crowd fund. People can crowdfund. People can get, a super donor. But traditionally, man, the big money. Name an independent candidate, somebody who's not running with the DNC, not running with the RNC, that can have $1 billion to spend. $1 billion. They're putting $1 billion on these campaigns, man. The fuck can you compete with that, man?
Communist Party. Our differences get exaggerated. Listen, Bernie Sanders believes, just like Nancy Pelosi believes, just like Chuck Schumer believes, just like Hakeem Jeffries believes, just like AOC believes, in equality and non-discrimination against people because of race or gender or sexual orientation. All Democrats believe in that. That's a core value. Democrats believe that government should provide a strong safety net for people when they're down on their luck. Everybody I just mentioned believes in that. Everybody believes that there should be some regulation of the market so that you don't have monopolies and oligopolies that are
What's up, Delphine?
simply dictating the terms of the economy, and that we should have a tax system that levels out some of the inequalities that result. So I think it's important for us to remind ourselves as a starting point, what do we have in common? Most of the time, the differences are tactical. Right? It has to do with, well, how much of a tax hike can people put up with? How much regulation should we be thinking about when it comes to climate change? And if we recognize that typically the arguments in the Democratic Party aren't about core values, but are really around tactics and how do you get stuff done. Now we can have a robust debate, and I want a robust debate.
Yeah.
And what we can also do is not try to nationalize every issue all the time. This last off-year election, I think, was a great example. You know, you've got a candidate like Spanberger in Virginia, who runs
Obama, what are you talking about? We don't need to nationalize everything. Didn't you endorse Spanberger? What are we talking about, man? Didn't Spanberger beat Winston Earl Sears, right? The black lady that didn't get the Trump endorsement, right? What the hell is Obama talking about? I think you gave the endorsement right then and Trump didn't.
Would be considered a more centrist campaign and runs a terrific campaign. And then you've got Mondami in New York who runs a explicitly socialist grassroots campaign and excites and mobilizes folks, and that can win in New York City. It probably could not win in Virginia. And that's okay. That's healthy.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think we get into arguments. A recent one, this idea that the quote-unquote abundance agenda.
Man, that's crazy. Obama just tried to, drop a little, like Spanberger. Yeah, she's a Democrat, but, she's with that more centrist agenda, and we see what the fuck you doing, Obama.
Is somehow a sellout, and folks on the left getting exercised because, this is part of this sort of corporate Democrats trying to, take over the party. Well, no, not really. What I think it is entirely legitimate to say, for example, we need to build more affordable housing, which is going to require higher taxes on people like me and people who are well off in order to subsidize the construction of affordable housing, let's say in a place like California, and also be able to say, you know what, there are a bunch of...
Why you don't think he's American? I know some niggas who look like Obama, bro. Like, it's some niggas from where I'm from that damn near look like Obama. You know what I'm saying? Like, Obama doesn't look like... He's not from America. Like, I'm just gonna be honest with you. I seen y'all went with the damn birth certificate. Y'all don't think his birth certificate real, but it's like, shit, I grew up with niggas who look like Obama, man. Like, shit, I went to school with some niggas who look like Obama.
Rules and zoning laws and so forth that baby boomers like me and existing homeowners have used to block the construction of affordable housing, even in democratic cities. And so if we want to actually deliver housing rather than have some abstract argument, then we got to figure out not an either or, do we spend more money or do we reform some of these things that are preventing the construction of affordable housing? We have to do both. And I want us to have those arguments. And one last thing I think that's I've noticed in a lot of our internal arguments, a lot of which, by the way, are taking place online and ordinary voters. This is all completely off their radar screen. Yeah. One of the things I think is
this is what I'm not getting,
bro. And one last thing I think that's I've noticed in a lot of rules and zoning laws and so forth, that baby boomers like me and existing homeowners have used to block the construction of affordable housing, even in democratic cities. And so if we want to actually deliver housing rather than have some...
That's the thing. What the fuck is... Like, what are they saying? Affordable housing is very much different than an affordable house. The American dream was supposed to be an affordable house, not fucking affordable housing. Affordable housing is another word for fucking low-income housing, man. The projects, man, the PJs, man. This is what both sides focus on this shit. Why the fuck can't houses just be affordable, man? We're coming up on like $500,000 for the national average for a fucking house. Canada's like almost at $1 million. A house in the city in Canada is $1.5 million. That's where we're on our fucking way to. What are we talking about building affordable housing? Make houses affordable. It's a fucking difference. Are we not there yet? Do we not get this yet? Everybody don't want to live in the fucking projects, man. Y'all think that's just the damn solution. Let's build 1 million fucking projects, man. No, let like you said, it's not or, it's an and. Build a few fucking projects and bring home prices down, man. Make this shit affordable, man. What the fuck are we talking about? $500,000, man. When OG and Paw and them was buying their fucking houses, man, they were like $27,000, $30,000. 75,000, 110,000, man. This shit's 500 bands, bruh. 500 bands, man. Get the fuck out of here, bro.
Abstract argument. Then we got to figure out not an either or. Do we spend more money or do we reform some of these things that are preventing the construction of affordable housing? We have to do both. And I want us to have those arguments. And one last thing I think that's I've noticed in a lot of our internal arguments.
It's not basic supply and demand, man. It's not basic supply and demand, man. They're propping this shit up, man. They're propping this shit up. They're propping home prices up, man. This shit's artificially inflated, man. Like we said, man, the boomers have most of their wealth tied into these cribs, which is cool, but let's make houses affordable some kind of way. Instead of building a bunch of fucking projects, man, we have other solutions. We got shit like Boxable out there. We have where people can have their own fucking house. Look, man, I seen them, what are those shed homes, bruh? What the fuck are those? The shed homes, man. You know, the tiny homes, the shed homes, man. When the government makes those, man, they're charging those people crazy amount. I'm talking about a one fucking bedroom tiny home, government made. They want like $180,000 for that little shit, man. On a little plot of land, you ain't got no backyard or nothing, man. They lining them bad boys up, man. You know they can't build trailer parks no more. Isn't there a ban where you can't start it? Well, they put them tiny homes, lining them bad boys up, man. 200,000, 178,000, man. What the fuck are we talking about, bro?
A lot of which, by the way, are taking place online, and ordinary voters. This is all completely off their radar screen. One of the things I think it's important for Democrats, for us also to recognize, progressives to recognize, folks on the left to recognize, it's possible for us to have a moral sense of what is right and true and what needs to be done. And also recognize that we are in a particular time and place here in America, and voters are not going to agree with us 100% on everything. And so it is not a sellout, it's not a betrayal to say that we're going to shape our agenda and our message in a way that allows us to build a working majority to get stuff done. And I think particularly around social issues, sometimes we get confused around this. You witness what happened in Minneapolis, and you say to yourself, morally speaking, that 5-year-old child who's standing in front of that SUV as his father's being dragged off, that child is equal to mine or any child. His immigration status, his nationality, does not change the love and decency that we should be showing that child. But what is also true is that we're a nation of laws, we have borders, and we've got to figure out an immigration policy that is orderly and that is fair and is enforced in a sensible way that is compatible with our values, but may not fully capture the degree to which that kid should have the same chances in life as a U.S. citizen kid. But, you know, we've got to accommodate the reality that the majority of the American people think that there's a difference between somebody who's a U.S. citizen and somebody who's not, and that they want an orderly immigration system. And sometimes I think what happens in the online debate is if somebody suggests, well, we have to have some immigration enforcement, then somebody's going to point at that child and say, well, so you don't care about that kid. Yeah. So you must be...
See, that's the difference. When we say he deported so many more than Trump, he should be telling everyone to calm the fuck down. See, the deportations in the Obama administration it just seemed to be more orderly at that time. Like, it wasn't mainstream, shit wasn't going on. Maybe we could say camera phones weren't just that big of a thing. Yeah, Obama 2008 camera phones were, you know, in its early infancy, you know, with the video recording, the grainy ass footage and shit, man. So it could be the camera footage. It could be, you know, maybe Obama just had shit a little bit more orderly. Now we can say blame Biden for the open borders that had to be gone, but at the end of the day, one was still more orderly than the other when we break it all the way down.
A bad person. The same would be true, let's say, here in Los Angeles around the homeless issue. I think morally, ethically speaking, it is an atrocity that in a country this wealthy we have people just on the streets. And we should have we should insist on policies that recognize their full humanity, people who are houseless, and be able to provide them the help and resources that they need. But we should
What you mean, do we remember the Obama phone? Mingly, the Obama phone's still jumping. They still got them bad boys out there. I got a partner who got like 20 Obama phones right now.
Nice that the average person, you know, doesn't want to have to navigate around a tent city in the middle of downtown. And that we're not going to be able to build a working majority and support for the resources that we need to help folks like that, whether it's drug treatment or you know, temporary housing or what have you. We're not going to be able to generate support for it if we simply say, you know what, it's not their fault, and so they should be able to do whatever they want, because that's a losing political strategy. That doesn't mean that we care less about those folks. It means that if we really care about them, then we got to try to figure out how do we gain majority support and be practical in terms of what we can get through at this moment in time and build on those victories. That a lot of times is the arguments that are taking place, but they become sort of performative, and people start saying, you know, oh, you're selling out, or conversely, I think sometimes folks at the center say, you know, you're being impractical and dismissing legitimate critiques and concerns. And then what we need to be able to do is to maintain both ideas at the same time, which is our long-term goals have to be driven by our values and our core beliefs and our ethics and our morals, in the sense that every person counts. And short-term, we got to win elections. Right. And anyway, the good news is, I think that the folks that we are fighting politically, the current White House, this administration, and their enablers, they're behaving so badly. They're doing such crazy stuff that it shouldn't be hard for our side to coalesce around the areas where we agree on and focus on that. And I think that, that is going to happen if we are effective in winning the midterms, if we then have a robust primary for who's going to be the next Democratic president. We shouldn't be afraid of having a robust debate. I want all comers to sort this out. I benefited from having about as grueling a primary as I could have. It made me a better candidate. It ultimately made me a better president because I had been tested. My ideas had been tested. The story I was telling about America had been tested. And that's what we should be looking for, rather than expecting that somehow we're going to all come up with some consensus blueprint master plan that everybody's going to execute. Democrats aren't good at doing that anyway.
Yeah. Well, I think, one block of voters who I think there has been particular focus paid to right now is young voters. And, you were able to mobilize
Jasmine Crockett took a little step out Mom Donnie's playbook. They said she finna be campaigning in the clubs too. We seen Mom Donnie in the club, I think he was in the gay club campaigning, but now I believe Jasmine Crockett finna hit the Texas clubs on her campaign.
Generation of young voters in a way that hadn't been done before. I got involved in politics because of you, and in fact a lot of millennials, folks my age, got involved in politics because of you. Like when I was a student, you could not find any other students on campus who were not supporting your campaign. Democrats and you had owned the cultural zeitgeist in a way that hadn't been done before, and frankly hasn't been done since. And we've seen a shift happen, obviously, from 2008, 2012 up to 2024.
Right.
And for the first time, we saw Democrats really lose their grip on culture in a way that hadn't happened before. And so, what is your advice in terms of remobilizing a generation of Americans that we've had trouble mobilizing?
Democrats kind of lost their grip on culture. The fuck does he mean by that?
Up to this point.
Well, look, part of it has to do with the fact that I was young.
Yeah.
So
maybe don't nominate a octogenarians?
Well, look, I'm 64 now. I'm pretty healthy, 64. Feel great.
Yeah.
But the truth is, half of the references that my daughters make about social media, TikTok, etc., I don't know who they're talking about.
Yeah.
There is a element of, at some point, you age out. You're not connected directly to the immediate struggles that folks are going through. And so I'm not making a hard and fast rule here, but I do think that Democrats do well when we have candidates who are plugged into the moment, to the zeitgeist, to the times, and the particular struggles that folks are thinking about as they look towards the future rather than look backward toward the past. And so some of it is choosing candidates who check that box. I do think that there...
So I had a debate earlier, chat, with a couple people, man, and I also had a conversation in the comments with another creator that's over here on YouTube about Jasmine Crockett and what she should have done. They were saying if Crockett doesn't win the mayoral race, that she should, maybe try to go be, doesn't win the Senate race, she maybe should try to go be mayor in DC. And I was like, I think that would kill her national appeal. And they kind of asked me why, and I was saying because she already has the Missouri to Texas thing, and then if she leaves Texas and just hops, skips, and jumps to trying to be DC mayor, going from a national level all the way back down to a local level, even though it's DC, it's still a local level. I'm like, yeah, she'll just lose national appeal. I think she should have, if she doesn't win, I think she should really take the Hakeem Jeffries route, man. If she takes the damn Hakeem Jeffries route, she might be all right. Democrats get in control. She positions herself to be, Hakeem Jeffries' replacement or something. Shit, in about 18 years, she could be Speaker of the House. But if she goes to DC, if she goes to become DC mayor, I think that just puts a damper on it, man. She could run again, for the House in 2028?
Is an element of joy that Democrats lost sometimes. Our campaign was fun. We had some, look, it wasn't always fun for me, but we built a community. We gave people a sense that if you are part of this, you're doing something meaningful. And it wasn't just talk. Young people ran our campaigns. We empowered them. We put them in charge. They were out there figuring stuff out. I'm not the person who was figuring out our meetings.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. The Republicans gerrymandered her seat away, but she could have ran for another district. She didn't have to run for Senate. She could have ran for another district, and won. She really could have ran. They could have shuffled they could have shuffled it around so she got a district. Honestly, if we were just gonna keep it honest, she had high aspirations. She wanted to go for Senate. Now, I think she beats Talrico, but I don't know if she beats Acornian. She may have a chance if she slanders Paxton, amid his shit he got going on with the divorce and the investigation. She fuck around, you know what I mean? But Cornian, I don't know.
Media strategy. I was not the person who was out there, knocking on doors and talking to voters and creating events. It was 20 and 30-year-olds. And so what happened in our campaign and what you recently saw in Mondami's campaign in New York.
Yeah.
When there's that sense of joy.
Yeah, Talrico has national appeal too. Talrico does have national appeal. I didn't like how Talrico answered a couple of those questions though. I'm not gonna lie, I did not like how I watched the debate between Crockett and Talrico. There were a couple questions on there that I just scratched my head like, did he just fucking say that? Like, it's crazy. But yeah, I do think Talrico has a national appeal, a little more moderate.
And engagement and involvement. Then people feel like, all right, this is not just some transactional grind. This is me becoming part of a community and joining with others. And I think young people respond to that. And then a corollary to that is I do think that culturally, and I've talked about this before, we did turn off. I think there was a certain way of talking about issues for Democrats where we sounded like scolds. And I've said this before. There was a virtue signaling that made it seem as if ordinary folks, if they did not say things in exactly the right way or meet this litmus test, that they were being chastised, pushed away. And the truth is, most of us, all of us, are complicated, and we have blind spots, and sometimes we say dumb stuff, and if you want to create an environment that is welcoming and makes people feel, okay, there's room for me here, then the message and the story we tell has to be, all right, none of us are perfect. All of us count. we all have good in us that we can tap into. We can all learn from each other. And I think that is something we need to recover. That's part of the fun of politics. That's part of the community and the social bonding that can come about. And we saw that in Minneapolis. I mean, somebody showed me, a friend of mine, Michelle Norris, is from Minnesota, and she was up there, and she was going around talking to neighbors and people she'd known for a long time as they were mobilizing protests and activities around ICE. And she showed me a clip of this street band that was performing every night after all these activities had been taking place and protests, etc. And they were just out there and they were playing music, and
Hey, who was that said that? Oh, Mark Cuban said if Trump run for a third term, he'll try to run. I seen Stephen A. Smith said that he's gonna take this year to think about his presidential bid. You know, he's gonna think about it this year. But chat, if Trump tries to run for a third term, do y'all think Obama's gonna come back out? Do y'all think Obama comes back out? Like, how crazy would that be, chat? If Trump fucked around and figured out that the election was, you know what I mean, whatever, and they pass it to where fucking Trump can run for a third term, man. Do y'all think Obama's gonna come out?
Figure out how they were playing, you know, horns and drums, etc., in like 0-degree weather, because I would not have been able to put my lips on a trumpet, and people were celebrating what they had accomplished, and it was an embodiment of the values that.
Hell, if Obama get elected, he gonna be the youngest president since his ass was in office before. Think about it. Biden's older than if Obama fucking around and ran 2028 against Trump, right? He says he's 60. What right now? 64. He'd be 68. That's still younger than Biden. That's still younger than Trump was both terms. It's crazy.
Make us care about other people, and that I think is a spirit that when Democrats tap into that spirit, then we win. The other side does the mean, angry,
demagoguery,
you know, exclusive, us, them, you know, divisive politics. That's their home court.
Yeah.
Our court is coming together. Our court is, look, you know, a great example. Wasn't political.
What's up, Forsaken?
Well, it resonated. It was smart because it wasn't preaching. It was showing. It was demonstrating and displaying. This is what a community is. And people who did not speak Spanish and have never been to Puerto Rico, they saw that elderly woman serving a drink and the kids dancing with their grandmas, and it was.
Yeah, to the outside world, OG Yosemite, I'm not gonna lie. To the outside world, we probably are looking like an authoritarian country. From the outside world, we probably are, for sure.
Generational, and it was
What's up,
a
Cheryl?
reminder of what Dr. King called the beloved community can look like, which is not perfect, and it's messy sometimes, and you know, I guarantee you not all those lyrics were probably politically correct, and if you translated them, and you know, they're.
Oh yeah, they said they launched an investigation into Bad Bunny for his lyrics at the Super Bowl, and now I think this is what Obama's talking about. If you translated them,
You know, people are complicated. but there was a sense of, all right, there's room for everybody here.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is where we win.
You know, your presidential center is opening up this summer, and you've dedicated your
I ain't gonna lie,
post-presidency to
man. Trump was right about that damn presidential center, man. On the outside, that motherfucker is ugly, boy. God dang.
lifting up the next generation of leaders, oftentimes in defiance of people begging and pleading with you to stay involved in the political process. And so why is it important for you to defer to those people, especially at a moment where it feels like there is a vacuum of leadership on the left? You are among, if not the most popular politician in America, and so you're right here, you know? And so why is it important for you in this moment to make sure that you defer to others?
Well, first of all, I'm not a politician anymore, and I can't be, right? I mean, I guess technically I could run for, city council or something, but
yeah.
I'm not in elected office. I don't have levers of power. I'm term limited out, and by the way, I believe in the Constitution, and also I believe in my marriage, and Michelle would divorce me even if I could run again. But I've always believed, I mean, this has been a central tenet of my work even before I was in elected office, that our job as leaders is to lift up other leaders, to empower others, to find their gifts and help them exercise those gifts. And so when I left the presidency, I said, what's our foundation going to do? We care about climate change, we care about racial justice, we care about healthcare, we care about a whole bunch of issues, and I work on those issues. Now, right now I'm spending a lot of time helping to think about how we're going to respond to AI as it's coming down the pike, and it's moving fast. So I care about specific issues, but the thing I thought I could do uniquely, Michelle and I still have the capacity, not just here in the United States, but globally, to inspire and motivate young people and invite them into this process. And that's what we need. We just talked about it. You look at where excitement's going to come from. It's going to come from the 20.
What's crazy is that's Brian Tyler's studio. Like, Obama really pulled up on him. Like, that's the studio he's always in. Like, Obama pushed up on him. It's crazy work. Or chat, do y'all think that's just, like, I don't know.
30-year-olds who know firsthand what it means to not be able to buy a house. Know firsthand what it means to see some of the ladder's opportunity being taken away. Have grown up in a moment in which there's more social isolation, right? And so understand both the good and the bad of social media. And so they're the ones who are going to craft these, who are going to remake our institutions so that they are consistent with the values that are, I think, timeless. And so what we've tried to do at the foundation has been to identify potential leaders, not just with traditional credentials, not just the kids coming out of fancy schools or with the top grades, but union organizers and grassroots organizers, as well as journalists and teachers and healthcare professionals and human rights activists. And we've now had thousands of folks go through the program, and these are folks who are doing remarkable stuff at very young ages. I mean, they're setting up health clinics in sub-Saharan Africa, or they're designing new programs for intervention to help with the opioid crisis in Appalachia, or they're working on how do we educate kids in using technology in remote rural areas and Native American reservations. Remarkable folks doing amazing stuff. And the Presidential Center, which will be opening up in June, is going to be the hub around which all this activity happens. And there'll be a museum with Michelle's dresses, since that's what people want to see.
Yeah.
You know, we'll have some sports memorabilia, and, you know, some cool stuff in there. But really, the heart of the Presidential Center is going to be the music studio, to where kids are learning how to tell stories through music, and a place to record podcasts so that they can learn how to, you know, talk about the issues in ways that resonate. And there's a Chicago Public Library in there, and there's an auditorium where, you know, young people will be exposed to world leaders who are coming through and can talk about their own journey. And what that does is it builds a community of activists, and it reminds people you're not alone. You're not alone in your sorrow when you see some of the stuff that's been happening in this country over the last year. But you're also not alone in being able to figure out how do we push back and come up with new solutions, and how do we remake these institutions.
Yeah, Shell, I seen what it said Pam Bondi mixed some names with some other names, and I seen 3.5 million. I didn't know they put out the other 3.5 million. I thought they just added to the 3 million they already had out. But nah, I'm gonna do my research on it though, for sure.
They work for this generation.
We finna get out of here, though, chat.
Spirit is what we hope, you know, this Presidential Center will
we finna get out of
constantly refresh and renew. You know, this is kind of a social change university, and we want just ordinary visitors who don't think of themselves as activists, as they go through these exhibits and they see, you know, what's been done in the past. We want them to think, well, what can I do? And we'll be giving them all kinds of ways in which they can then connect for, you know, with local organizations and get active in their own communities around the things that they care about. That kind of reinvigorating our civic muscles, giving people a sense of, you know, I'm not going to just sit here and doom scroll or occasionally, you know, tweet some complaint about what's happening, but that I actually have agency and I can actually make a difference. You know, we want to encourage that, and that's what we saw and have been seeing across the country in response to the violations and overreach and lawlessness that's been coming out of this administration. We just have to encourage that and cultivate that, and not assume that it happens on its own. I became president because very early on in my career, I had people teach me the power of community and other people joining together around common interests. And I tried to manifest what I'd learned in every campaign I ran, and tried to ride that all the way through my presidency. And you know, I didn't figure out all that stuff on my own. And we have a long history in this country, you know, dating back to the abolitionist movement and the suffragist movement, and on through the civil rights movement and the union movement. And we have a long history internationally. Gandhi learning from Thoreau, who then inspires King, who then inspires Mandela, who, in the meantime, like Valletta, is, you know, helping to, and Solidarity are helping to bring down the Iron Curtain and inspiring the, you know, people power. And
yeah, you said if they dropped the rest of the files a little over an hour ago, we'll talk about that in the morning, chat. We finna get up out of here, man. We got like 2 or 3 minutes left for this interview, then I'm finna get off. But I'm gonna do my research and we'll get on that tomorrow, man. The market's finna fucking crash. That's crazy. If they drop the rest of the Epstein files on the weekend, man, they're trying to see how the market's gonna fucking open, man. That's what they're doing, bro. That's what they're doing, man. They probably finna fucking start halting withdrawals and shit like that on these platforms, man. They always do this shit on the weekend, chat. Have y'all not noticed this shit? They always do this shit on the weekend, man.
Philippines and you know, there that spirit, that energy, it's out there, and you can feel it, but it's bottled up. We haven't given enough outlets for young people to figure out, how do I become a part of that, and that's this enormous untapped power that we have to get back to.
So I want to do a little bit of a lightning round here because it's not often I'll get access to the President of the United States. So a couple questions here. Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in, what is it?
Area 51?
Area 51. There's no underground facility, unless there's this enormous conspiracy, and they hid it from the President of the United States.
What was the first question you wanted answered?
Y'all see how calm he just said yes. Are aliens real? Yes. But we just don't have one. We ain't got them cooped up, man. They're real. We just ain't got them cooped up. Y'all see how he just answered that shit?
When you became president?
Where are the aliens?
Where are the aliens? Is there a person that you most want to meet that you haven't met yet?
I'll be honest with you.
Plug.
Being president, or even being the next president, I can kind of meet everybody. So I've met a lot of folks.
Yeah.
The person who I have not yet met, and that I'm looking forward to meeting, and I hope I get an opportunity sometime in the future, is the new Pope, who is from Chicago and a White Sox fan. I had the pleasure of getting to know Pope Francis pretty well, and he was legit. You know, there's some figures. He's one. The Dalai Lama was another. Is another who they're how you hope they are. They kind of walk the walk.
Yeah.
And my sense of this new Pope is he's from that. He's cut from that cloth.
Yeah.
You know, somebody who worked in places that really needed help, and what wasn't just preaching from a pulpit, but getting his hands dirty, trying to help people. So I'm looking forward to talking to him.
I think we can. I think
at some point I'll probably have. Yeah.
What world leader did you like the most and the least?
There are a lot of world leaders I enjoyed. Angela Merkel I became very close to because she really was the leader of Europe during my presidency, and we were grappling with a bunch of different stuff. She came from a center-right tradition. I obviously come from a center-left position, but she had integrity, very wicked smart, and we're both analytical and practical, and try to figure out how to problem solve, and so she became a very close partner to mine.
Y'all think Obama was center-left, chat? Y'all think Obama was a center-left president? I'm not gonna lie, a lot of this shit, man, I guess. He pushed some of that far-left shit, but I guess he was when you think about immigration and shit. I would think Bill Clinton was more center-left.
I'm gonna defer on the.
You talking about the Nephilim? I remember they said in the Hillary email she was looking for Gilgamesh tomb.
The leaders I like least. There's enough of a public record. People probably have a sense of some of the folks who I wasn't happy with.
Best prank out of the White House when you were president?
Look, I'll be honest with you. Folks aren't running pranks in the White House. They're Secret Service. Everybody's busy.
That's what I want to hear, Obama. That's what I want to hear, man. Ain't no fucking plan in the White House. I wish you would have just said it like that, man. I wish you would have just said, man, it ain't no fucking plan in the White House, man. Might find a little coke, might find a little bit of this or that, you know what I'm saying? Might open the door to somebody getting sucked off, man, but there ain't no damn plan in here.
were pranks. They weren't run on me, and I didn't.
You didn't pull any?
I tended not to pull pranks. People are intimidated enough by a president.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to punch down on a prank.
Yeah.
If you're gonna pull off a prank, it's got to be on somebody who can prank you back, and wasn't nobody gonna prank me. Yeah.
All right, last question here. Is Tupac alive?
He's alive on my playlist.
All right. All right, we'll leave it there.
There you go.
Mr. President,
I enjoyed it.
I appreciate it.
Thank you
So
Keep
much.
up doing the good work.
All right, chat, man. I don't know how to feel about the interview. It was a decent interview. I'm not gonna lie. Guess I get an interview like a like a 7.9, 8 out of 10. Decent interview. But we finna get up out of here, chat. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little hungry, tired. What's up, Top Cat? Thank you, everybody for pulling up, supporting me. We will be live tomorrow. If they did put out the other Epstein files, you know I'm gonna have a breakdown for y'all tomorrow, man. Double tap the screen, shut a live out, and I'll see y'all on the next one, chat.